Welcome. Today we're going to delve into a topic that's generating a lot of buzz: artificial intelligence in finance. But we're going to look past the headlines about robots and spreadsheets. Our focus is on how this technology is fundamentally rewriting the very rulebook of corporate strategy. So let's tackle the big question right out of the gate. There's a really common perception that AI's main job in finance and accounting is to, just automate the tedious, repetitive tasks. But is that really the whole picture? Is it just about doing the same old things, but a little bit faster?
Well, the research points to a very clear and definitive answer. Absolutely not. The real, game-changing power of AI isn't just about those efficiency gains. It's in its profound ability to completely reshape an organization's strategy and its capacity for making decisions. To really get our heads around this, we need to examine how AI is changing the very DNA of financial analysis. It's not just an upgrade, it's a complete shift from one way of thinking to another. And this slide really lays out that evolution perfectly. You see, traditional finance has always been about looking in the rearview mirror, right? It's been focused on periodic reports, backward-looking analysis, basically being an excellent record keeper of what has already happened. But AI-powered finance completely flips that on its head. It makes finance about continuous, forward-looking decision support. It turns the entire function into a predictive, strategic engine for the business. So you might be wondering, what's the core economic principle that's actually driving this huge transformation? Well, it all boils down to one incredibly powerful capability that AI has put on steroids. Now, this quote comes from some really foundational research by Agrawal and his colleagues. And what they argue is that AI's single biggest economic impact is making prediction cheap. Not just a little cheaper, but radically cheaper, faster, and more scalable. Now, that might sound simple, but the consequences of that one change are absolutely massive for business strategy. And let's be super clear. When we say prediction in the world of finance, we are not talking about a crystal ball or some kind of magic. What we're really talking about is a rigorous, data-driven, statistical process. It's about using all the information you have, historical and real-time, to generate probable future insights. It's about forecasting outcomes, spotting risks before they become problems, and finding opportunities that are hidden deep within the data. And believe me, this isn't just theory. This capability creates real, tangible value across the most vital financial activities. I mean, just think about it for a second. More accurate revenue forecasts, sharper credit risk assessments, catching fraud the second it happens, more reliable cash flow projections. See, when prediction becomes cheap, you can and should apply it absolutely everywhere. Okay, so if prediction is the new commodity, the thing that machines can do really well, what does that mean for the people? What happens to the finance professionals whose jobs have often revolved around making these kinds of predictions? Well, a tech shift this big inevitably reshapes their role. You can actually map out a clear three-stage evolution here. First, AI starts to automate all those routine, data-intensive prediction tasks. That then frees up the human professionals to shift their energy and their brain power to higher-value activities that, frankly, machines just can't do. And that leads us to the final stage, the evolution from being a number cruncher into a true strategic advisor to the business. And this is the really crucial takeaway. As routine prediction gets handed over to the machines, human intelligence gets redirected. It becomes laser-focused on the uniquely human skills, judgment, ethical governance, and the strategic interpretation of what all those AI-generated insights actually mean. It's about asking the right questions and ultimately making the final call. So what this all culminates in is a really profound identity shift for the entire profession. The finance professional of the past was, for the most part, a record keeper, a steward of what happened. The finance professional of the future is a strategic advisor, a partner who helps steer the company's direction. So finally, what does all of this mean for the finance department's position inside the wider organization? Well, its entire reason for being gets elevated. By embedding AI into its core processes, the finance team can transform itself from being seen as a cost center, a necessary but expensive part of doing business, into a core driver of actual business value. It becomes an absolutely essential partner in making the most critical strategic decisions across the entire enterprise. And that really leaves us with a critical question. It's not just for CFOs, but for every single leader out there. As you navigate the future, you have to ask yourself, are we just using this powerful technology to count what's already happened? Or are we truly leveraging it to predict, to influence, and to actively shape what happens next?